Is it gonna let me?
You are live.
Oh yeah, it says I'm going live, but where's it go? Where is it live to? Is it live to
YouTube, I think.
YouTube, maybe?
I think so. Go to our YouTube. Use your YouTube to go to our YouTube on your phone and see if we're live.
Yeah,
and it'll tell you.
Yeah, let's see. Let me try. Let me see what's going on here.
We are most definitely live, though. We are live on my social media.
Yeah, it says right here. It says live, but I don't know who live on what though. I'm thinking. It is probably on YouTube. Here we go. Let me see. Oh yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yep.
We're live on YouTube.
Okay, yep, good. Yep, we are.
All right, yay! So there you go. We're live on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See it. Yep, we are. But I can't. I don't know if I can do two at once. Yeah. All right. So. All right. Yeah. So this works. Yeah, this works out. Yeah. So that's what we live. I was like, where's it live on? Okay. Okay. Yeah. This could work. This could work. This definitely could work.
Yeah. I mean, play with it a little bit. And
yeah, somebody's on right now. I can say it says one. Who's this? Who's these people? Oh, okay. Because they are subscribed. So subscribers could go on there.
We do. We have like.
That's right. 20. That's right. I'm about to say who this one person, but I can't really tell who's the one person.
You should bring it up on your phone. Mute
I could, but I might have that echo though. That's the only problem.
Mute the audio on your phone, just so you can see what people are saying or who is on, and so that they can interact.
That's true. You're right. Yeah, so this works. Yeah, this works out. Yeah, so that's what we live. Let me mute. Let me mute, like you said. Let me do that. Let me see. Okay, I should be able to see on this too. Maybe when people start talking, I can probably see on here. But comments. There we go. It says comments. Yeah, so this will work. All right. We got two people. Okay. That works. You know what you look like?
What?
With those glasses on? You look like a teacher right now. You got a teacher, librarian. I don't know what's going on, but you got you like a teacher right now. Like
they are my blue light glasses. I wear them because everything's LED now. So, and we grew up and our eyes are adjusted to more of a red light, and the LED, the blue light, messes with your eyes. So this kind of protects my eyes.
So you have StreamYard, and you subscribe to it, but you never went on here to even test it out or use it yet?
Well, I just recently subscribed to it when we were.
Oh, got you. Okay, but now that you have it, yeah, that's good. You're gonna be messing with this for a while now. So, yeah. So for the people that are watching, there's people left, and they probably want us to start and all of that other stuff. But at least now we can start doing this more often because, this is a good platform to use. So you want to start off?
Encourage everybody that's watching me live here, head on over to our YouTube. I'm going to turn my live off on my Facebook so that they can see you, because on my Facebook, they can't see you. So guys, I'm going to turn off my live on my Facebook. Head on over to our YouTube page, and I'll even post the link on the YouTube page for anybody that wants to come on.
I can do that too.
Yeah.
Let me do that too. So when they on Facebook, they can't see me. They only can see you. Oh, that's weird.
Well, because I was using my phone.
Got you. Okay. That makes sense. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna actually put the link on my thing too. All right. Okay, I think I did. Why does it look like that? It look all crazy looking. Okay. I think it worked.
Okay, there we go. And then I just is what it is. Okay. So
Yeah.
the last time we spoke, we talked about
Mhm.
grief. And I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about that a little bit more because we were in between, like we were celebrating your father's birthday and my father's birthday was coming up, and so I went through a lot of personal, I guess, elevated revelations because he's been gone for a long time. My father passed away in
Mm.
2006.
Mm.
So just to kind of an understanding, because I tell people all the time, because you always hear the cliche, it gets easier with time. And I say, no, it doesn't. It does not get easier with time. You just learn how to live differently. And so I always have an earbud in my ear because my kids are constantly calling me or something's going on or whatever. Or I like to listen to music when I'm cleaning and so on and so forth. And it randomly started playing music, and not just any music. It randomly started playing this specific album, which was mine and my father's favorite album from our favorite movie that we used to watch all the time. And I wound up, and I know, like, the last time that music started randomly playing was when I was getting um but a clarification on whether or not I should move to New Jersey back in 2008, because I prayed on it before I moved to New Jersey. And so I sat with it for a couple of days and just allowed my father to uh the presence of his memory to just wash over me, and just um I like to replay my memories to see if there's something that I'm missing. It's almost like watching a movie all over again because you get to see
Yeah.
the stuff that you missed the first couple of times.
What do you
So, yeah, go ahead.
what do you so for people that don't know, which I think is kind of a good thing they don't know this, what's the difference you think you feel you well when it comes to grief as far as losing a parent is compared to losing somebody else? Like, I don't think people understand the magnitude of, when you lose a parent or kid or who, I'm saying somebody important like that. Not to say that nobody else isn't, but what do you feel is the difference? Like, why is it more powerful? What do you feel? Do you feel anything that's missing? Because I know with me, it's a certain thing that's different that makes it, what I'm saying?
Well, it's the
More
core of
impactful.
who you are, right? It's
Yes.
the foundation of who you are, and they are your greatest influence if you have good parents and you love your parents and you have a
Mhm.
good relationship with your parents. Not everybody can say that, but even if you don't, I think I'm grateful that I was able to reconcile my relationship with both of my parents long before they passed away, and get everything off my chest and be able to hear them as human beings and not just my parents, because there was a lot of damage that was done, and I didn't want to carry that weight with me for the rest of my life as I became an adult. So I'm grateful for that. But I have found that even if you have um you don't have the greatest relationship with your parents, that it also changes you when they pass away, because it's a question of the core of who you are. And I think I find myself just remembering how um, it has shaped me over the years. I like to revisit my memories with my father as I age and kind of replay the things that he has told me over the years and see how that can apply now. because I carry that with me. So it does change. I can't speak on the loss of a child, but I can tell you that my grandmother had to bury like 3 of her children. And when she buried my father as we were going in to the funeral home, I asked her, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "No, I'm not." And she said, "No one should have to bury their child." And
well,
I don't think I could live through it.
the thing too is like, I feel when, the parent thing is, you always going to feel like there's something missing, number one, because like you said, there's a part of you. And then that's all you, I don't want to say all you know, but you've known them your whole life. So obviously when they're not there, that's a huge void that's not going to be filled anymore. And then it's a sudden thing about it that's like, you realize there's no way you'll be able to get that back. No matter how much you try, like, you'll never be able to talk to them again. You'll never be able to get advice from them again. You still feel their presence, which is a good thing, but physically, there's no way. So that's where it's kind of different, because with other people, a lot of people come in and out of your life. You get used to that. But when the parent is gone, you're not used to that. You don't know how to respond. You don't know how to act. You don't know what is to come, because especially if it's recent. I know yours is a little bit further, but at the same time, you still gonna feel that. Even now, I know you still feel it, because there might be certain things that you want to ask or you want them to give you advice on, and they can't. They're not there. So it's very different from anything else as far as when somebody passes, because like I said, that's the person that all of a sudden is not there when you're used to seeing them or used to being around them. Even if you're not even around, like you said before, that's a good point. Even if you're not close, you still losing something, because you can't reconcile. You can't say you're sorry. You can't tell them, try to make up. You can't fix it. And you might have even
There's also nobody to direct that anger at anymore.
You
kind of have to deal with it, I guess.
And you're gonna probably have a lot of regret too, because at some point you're like, "Dang, I could have did this different," or this, or
I do tell people all the time.
I want to tell them this, and you can't.
I do tell people all the time, you have the rest of your life to remember the things that you did not do and the things that you did not say. And I promise you, the day you lose that core person that means something to you, from that day on, you regret. You will remember, I should have leaned in when they were listening. I should have paid more attention. I should have memorized their face, because as time goes on, you have to start to pull pictures out and stuff to remember what their face looks like.
Yeah.
Because and you have to like consciously do that to constantly keep them in remembrance. And so it becomes something that like
I know exactly what you mean. If you it's been some time, and like you said, you still haven't gotten over it, but the one thing that you can probably take with you that kind of helps, whereas for me anyway, I feel like we did get closer, and then I don't have regrets as far as, man, I messed up, I have regrets, or like I treated him so bad, or he treated me bad. I don't have that regret, like, feeling like I did something wrong. I don't have the regret like that.
Well, you're blessed, because there are people that do.
Yeah, it is. And even everybody has disagreements and arguments. Even during that, those things kind of bring you together, because, and I said this before, there's times where we had disagreements and arguments, but then later on, experience what he was telling me, now it kind of made sense. So even I have arguments and I didn't agree with him, later on, there's times where I experienced what he was talking about, and then it's like, oh, what I'm saying? It was lessons that helped in life. It helped me guide me in certain ways. And that's why I always say, with parents, they do have, I don't want to say more wisdom, because just because you age or you older doesn't mean you smarter or anything like that, but they have more experience because they live longer. So a lot of times they'll say
with
something.
experience comes wisdom if you're paying attention, though, right?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
works.
So so that's the thing with a lot of disagreements or arguments and stuff like that I've had. It's been because I don't never experienced it and they were not experienced. But and like he wasn't perfect. He had his ways too. He had some things that that I think that he was young and he kind of made bad mistakes that I learned from. So that's what I'm saying. So even when he did make his mistakes, it helped me because like I don't want to do that. That was wrong.
I want to encourage you during this next season of your life to ask stories about your father from other people. Get to know your father outside of your father.
Yeah, I'm actually the crazy part is I did during the funeral, which is kind of strange because in the funeral you're trying to grieve and stuff like that, and you're trying to like grasp everything. But there was stuff that people was talking about that brought up, stuff about him that I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even know I had like family down south. He talked about it somewhat, but I met them there, and we got to talk and got to get in the bond because I finally met them.
Good.
And
continue to get to know your father. Continue to get to know him.
Oh yeah, of course.
You'll feel more connected to him as you get to know him outside of being your father, because you realize in those moments that there's a lot of things that weren't shared with you that you had no idea about.
And that's the thing too, and that's a good point because I was fortunate enough to have him this long. Because like you said, you lost your father when you was in 2006. I was able to at least, what I'm saying, grow up and go through my 30s and in 40s and stuff like that, and kind of learn even more stuff. No matter how old you get, you still learn from your parents, and you still get different valuable insights. Some people don't even have that. There's some people that lost them when they was kids, and it's like I can even imagine, because like I said, there's so many things out there.
Well, I think as long as, and don't get me wrong, you have to heal from that if you lose your parents when you're a child. But I think as long as you have a solid structure in
that's true. You're right.
Replacement of what you've lost, you still turn out to be okay.
Yeah, and my mother's still here, which is great. I just was at her house. Actually, I was in Jersey yesterday, and we talked. So I'm still fortunate, and I still have my parent here, and me and my mother it's kind of strange because we're a lot alike, more than me and my father was. Me and my father bonded because we both males and stuff like that. But personality wise, me and my mother are like almost identical.
Your mother's your core person.
Yeah. So we bond, and she's so like I said, I'm not one of them people that's like, oh man, poor me. I'm still fortunate enough to where I still have a support system. I still have my mother, and even though my father did pass, I still had him a long time. And I learned a lot from him that kind of helped me through life. But my mother, she's still here. And like when I need something or I need advice or I want to talk or bring up something, and we have conversations, and we have great conversations. So I'm still fortunate enough to, have that. And but yeah, when it comes to grieving, it's just one of them things where
it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I see it as a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, my husband calls me the hippy dippy kind of feeling. The thing
about it.
I think it's therapeutic because grief allows release so that your body can let go of the pain of the loss. So I think it's therapeutic. So I just went through a week of cocooning.
What's cocooning?
Cocooning.
Oh, that's cocooning. Okay, just been saying.
Yeah. I definitely just so that, and then I'm also big into the spirituality aspect of things, and I love numerology. So when things start to sync up and align, and this is my 2026 year, and this is 20 years after my father passed away. So I'm also turning 41, and my father passed away at the age of 41. So I've
Really?
always
Oh,
been afraid of this age. As I went through my 20s and my 30s, I've always been afraid of this age. So I feel like it's funny because during this time where he showed up and I was grieving, I found out the real reason why he passed away. And it wasn't.
Oh, you didn't know that at the time?
Nope.
Oh, shoot. That's interesting.
Yep.
But you didn't try to, you wasn't curious to try to find out all these years?
I believed the information that was given to me.
Oh, gotcha. You got the run. Okay, I thought that you didn't know and you just accepted that. Okay. I
always thought that there was inconsistencies, but I was told that my inconsistencies were a waste of time to look into because everything was covered up. So finding out that from my brother that the nurse actually, so what happened was I knew that my father was on push button Dilaudid when he was in the hospital. And I knew that the nurse had turned off his heart monitor. And I was like, why would a nurse turn off a heart monitor for somebody who's had multiple heart attacks? You don't silence that. That doesn't make any sense. That's completely against the protocol. But it was like, oh, it's completely covered up. And it was his wife that had said all of that to me. And I was 21, so I believed her. And they'd been married for like 17 years. So but it turns out she was like cheating on him the whole time so the nurse gave him the OxyContin that was prescribed for the cancer patient next door. So that mixed with the Dilaudid caused him to overdose and flatline. And because he was due to be released the next day and the sensors were falling off of him, they just went ahead and silenced the alarm because he was due to be released the next day. So they didn't know he flatlined. And by the time they were able to bring him back to life, he had little to no.
How did she make that mistake? How did that happen? That nurse.
I don't know, but apparently she admitted to it, and it was like a whole big thing.
You could have sued the hospital, couldn't you?
So my stepmother was going, from my understanding, she was going to sue, and she backed out because in the state of Michigan, according to state law, my brother and I each would have gotten like 36%. Which would have left her less than half. So she decided not to pursue it. And I do remember my brother calling me because my father's sister had told him, if you and your sister want to pursue this, I will get an attorney and we will pursue this. And we made a collective decision that we didn't want blood money, so to speak, because there's no amount of money that could replace our father. And at that point in our lives,
but sometimes it's not about that. It's about holding people accountable because,
Well, she lost her job. And also at the same time, I was dealing with a bad marriage and my brother had his own stuff going on. And we just lost.
Listen, you know what?
We just
when you get ready to tell your story, you need to get on the stuff that you got going on as far as like the stuff that you went through, because the stuff I know, because I've known you for a long time now, the stuff that you went through and stuff that you could definitely enlighten people. It's crazy that, you went through that. You went through what you went through. But
it's almost like it didn't happen. I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you sat down and listened to my story, you would not believe me. You'd be like, how does that happen to like one person? And why are you seemingly mentally okay? And I'm like, I'm not.
It's crazy because, but it could explain a lot of certain things we do. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe yes, your parents have a lot to do with how you grew up, so like that. But it's also a product of the environment, stuff you went through that could make certain things
it's not
you
just
do.
a belief, it's scientifically proven. So I studied as my kids were starting to become like preteen teenagers. I was like, I'm messing up. Like I had felt like I was not meeting the bar that I would have wanted to meet as a mom. And I knew that I still had a whole lot of stuff that I needed to fix mentally. So I started studying psychology, and that led me to the study of epigenetics. And Dr. Bruce Lipton is like the original scientist that came up with epigenetics, and he's amazing. So for the first 7 years of your life, scientists call it the programmable period. And during that programmable period, your brain waves, so you have like beta, delta, all that good stuff. So your brain waves are lower so that you can be programmed easier. So your environment and your parents have a lot to do with your subconscious programming. Because so here's what science has proven. 90 something percent of your brain is your consciousness. However, or I'm sorry, 90 something percent of your reality comes from your subconscious. However, the biggest part of your brain is conscious, your conscious brain. And your conscious brain is your creative brain. However, your subconscious brain controls what you see and do in your reality. It is your output. And that is programmed within the first 7 years of your life.
Yeah, but it's things that you do, and you might even notice it, is like you said, the environment, but it could be a dramatic experience that could change you. You know, like for instance, people that have got raped or people that had a dramatic experience, seeing somebody get killed in front of them.
Yes.
That can change.
It literally changes up your DNA.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It changes up how you act and see certain things. So there's certain dramatic experiences. That's why I said with you, your story could be told, because there's times where you've done something. I remember you told me because like this happened or that happened, and then you might have reacted and did certain things because of what you went through. You know what I'm saying? And even certain things I've seen that kind of changed me with certain stuff. And I always tell a story like to other people. I live in Delaware now, and it's quiet here. And I remember somebody I worked with, she grew up in Delaware. And I told her where I lived, and she was like, yeah, there was somebody got shot over there or whatever. It's like crazy. And to me, I was like, so? Like, that's normal to me. You know what I'm saying? That's normalized because I grew up hearing that all the time.
To shooting and death because of where you came from.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, that wasn't like, I thought it was some dramatic thing that she was telling me. And to her, that was like the scariest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, I would never go by there now because I'm so shook up. Like, that terrified her. And then I'm in the military also. So for me, I was in the combat zone. That's all we did, you know. And I remember hearing bombs come and stuff like that. We just went into a bunker. And after a while, it's like, oh, okay, a bomb's coming, to get an alarm, whatever. So like I said, some of that stuff is normalized, but that shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't be something that I should be, you know, be like, oh, that's no big deal. You know, so like I said, there's certain things that we grew up seeing, or we see something dramatic that can really change you. And like I said,
well, yeah, I think you and I have had a conversation over like comments where I'm being desensitized to sex because I've been raped and sodomized and
see, I don't want to say that, but so that's what I'm saying. And I know that probably affected you. It has to. You know, even if people say it doesn't, like,
well, I guess it's levels to it. So I can go all the way to the deep side because my brain has seen darkness in pleasure form. So
that's what's crazy. Like when you say but go ahead, continue. I want to hear this.
So it's associated these types of things with pleasure. And because it happened in my pinnacle before the age of 7,
That's so crazy.
It's part of my subconscious programming. But it's changing. Honestly, it has been changing. And so the course of that change started happening back in 2018 when I decided to go celibate for a while to take control over my
I didn't know that.
sexual
I for so long. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's wild. Yeah. Okay.
And then I got married. When I got married, my husband was like, the way he treated me, like, it was different. It was more of a delicate flower kind of deal, and it was different. And it was like, I prefer you like this. I prefer you to be more feminine. And he's been feeding that feminine side of me because I'm not feminine like at all. He's been feeding that feminine side of me throughout the course of our marriage. So my wall has been softening over the years, and I've been healing and letting go of the darkness that has just been here for such a long time. It's like, I can tell you that it was my senior year, and I have been plagued with this darkness for so long that it's just become normal. But it was my senior year, and I couldn't sleep, and this was a regular thing, just hearing voices. Or there would be times I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I would see demons just standing in my hallway staring at me and laughing. And I'm like in middle school, high school. And this particular time, I was asleep, and in my dream, this creature came through the wall and started to consume me and eat me from my feet up. And I could feel it. I could literally, my body felt it as if it was real. And I woke up, and my dad was in the living room, and I went and sat with him. And he said something. He had said something to me at that point. He was like, "Why are you up?" And I explained it to him. And he goes, he shared a personal story with me that's not my story to tell. But he shared a personal story with me, and he had said to me, "You've paid enough, don't you think, for the sins of somebody else? It's about time you let it go, huh?" And that's like, it kind of sit with me. And it wasn't the last time I had been sexually assaulted. I've been sexually assaulted since then, but
that's wild. So, did anything happen to these people that did this? Did anything like this? Because there's a reason why I asked you that. The reason why I'm asking that is because, and I know a lot of rape victims, they don't want to talk about it and stuff like that.
Oh, I'll talk about it all day long.
But the thing about it is, some people are ashamed, whatever. They don't want to, because it's a dramatic experience in their life. But at the same time, when you do that, it kind of lets the person that did it get away with it. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to keep doing it to other people.
That's great to think that. It really is. But I got to tell you, the reality is justice does not support sexual assault victims. It is degrading. It is
but how would you know that if people are not coming forward?
It is absolutely degrading what a woman has to go through.
No, I know that. That's what I'm saying. I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's secret. That's why they don't really bring it. I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think a lot of people, it's a lot of involved. I get that. And I understand.
It's almost as equally traumatizing as it is the act itself to come forward when you've been sexually assaulted.
I understand. I mean, I understand. I know
can tell you.
it's
So here's what, as a 7-year-old who came forward, and I came forward. So as a 7-year-old who came forward, someone who was sodomized regularly had to then be sodomized by a doctor in my mouth and both of my private areas at 7. Then I had to sit in a courtroom and go into grave detail.
Yeah,
When I was ordered to therapy, where I had to sit there once a week and talk about it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, for a kid, I understand that.
I would rather just move on with my life and just tell people, hey, he's a rapist. like honestly.
Well, yeah, I think that's where the parents got to come in and kind of step in and do it for you type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I hear stories a lot. You know what I'm saying? And people say this.
Your parents can't do it for you. You have to do it yourself. You have
I'm not. I'm just talking about as far as you got to go up there and talk and tell a story. But I'm talking about as far as pushing it. Like I'm gonna take care of him if it means I got to go to court and do this. Do what I have to do to get him prosecuted, get him off the streets. So that way, at least in the meantime, he's not doing it.
You can't get him prosecuted or her or whoever has done it without the testimony of the victim.
No, I know that. I'm not talking about the testimony part. I'm talking about as far as pushing it to the cops and to the authorities and stuff like that. What I'm saying is most people, they don't want to go through none of that at all. And they don't even push it or press charges. You can't go to the cop and press the charges. Obviously, the parents got to do it. You tell the parents. And they go.
Well, you got to look at all the red tape too. Like if you don't go soon enough and the evidence is off and all of that good stuff, and then you go through the whole Me Too movement, forget about it. Because the Me Too movement, I think, I'm such a conspiracy theorist by heart. Like I really am. But everybody thinks I'm crazy anyway. So I think I legitimately think that the Me Too movement was pushed out because shortly after that, you started seeing women coming out and falsely accusing people. And I think it was done intentionally to desensitize people to women going, hey, I was raped too. And now conveniently, the Epstein files is coming out and you're going to start finding that all of these women were supposedly raped. And I think it's going to be like, oh, well, there's not enough evidence. Oh, well, there's this. Oh, well, there's that. And so you have to understand that it is hard for people to wrap their mind around some of the bad things that happen to people.
Yes.
I can say this. I have not met a single person in my life, and I've met and gotten to know thousands of people. I've not met a single person in my life that has been able to sit and listen to my entire story without asking me to stop.
Without asking you, what you say? Without what?
Without asking me to stop because they can't handle it.
Oh, yeah. Because a lot. It's a lot. But, you can kind of tell with certain people that the way they act, they carry themselves, that, they went through something. You know what I'm saying? And with you, I didn't really know that you went through certain things, but I knew that you was different when it came to certain things. I'm like, this kind of strange where this came from, or, why is she doing that? And then when you told me, I was like, it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, I still, luckily, I really haven't had a situation where I was raped or anything like that. So I don't understand a lot. So I depend on you or somebody else that's been through it to kind of tell me. But I've always thought to myself, I'm like, how did these people not press charges or not? I know now. Like I get it now because, like you said, they don't want to go through that. There's a lot of stuff they got to go through to even prosecute, and sometimes that don't even work. These people still, you know what I'm saying, get let free.
Most of the time. Most of the time it doesn't work.
But this is what I look at. I'm like, all right, if these people are that crazy enough to want to be intimate with somebody that's 7, there's something wrong with them, and they're gonna just continue to do it. Well, it ain't gonna be just you. They're not gonna be like, okay, I just like this 7-year-old or this
here's
person.
The tricky part. Here's the tricky part of what I was dealing with. It was my cousin, and he was only a few years older than me. Because he had been sexually assaulted.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
The men that were around all of us on that side of the family, not all the men, but most of the men, because I don't know if there's a female on my mom's side of the family that hasn't been sexually assaulted. Let's just put it that way.
That's just crazy. It's just, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think it's just crazy. And then what's crazy about that too is when that happens, that can change the course of somebody's life forever. You know what I'm saying? Because once their rape thing comes into play, especially at a young age, that's gonna change how some people act. You know what I'm saying? Or some people, interact with other people relationships wise. It's gonna come back to their relationships. Especially if you got raped. When you have a relationship with somebody later on, it's gonna come back in a different form. You might, I'm saying you, but somebody gonna, and they don't even realize it. They're gonna probably think that's normal. They're gonna probably think that's normal. So
I was a sexual
deviant. It's just wild.
No, I have, you live with it, and I have my dark moments, and I have my dark sides, and I have my things, and it does desensitize you when it comes to, so one of two things I think tends to happen. Either you're desensitized like I was, and I could just, like, you could literally rape me now, and I could just lay there and take it and walk away, and it won't even affect me.
See, and that shouldn't happen. And that's what I'm saying. And that shouldn't happen.
Or you become so clammed up that you're scared of
crazy.
Like,
and it's crazy because that's so crazy. That's so crazy. And then, like it's generational thing too, because and that's another thing too I don't like about it too is a lot of parents are not protecting their kids enough, because a lot of that stuff wouldn't happen if the parents just did what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Take liberty to kind of,
I can't say that.
No, because if you think about it too, a lot of times what happens is the kids are probably not saying it, but they're giving hints. They're showing signs. And then not only that, if it's a relative or something like that, and they're doing something, it's kind of hard for me to realize that they don't know what's going on. They don't know nothing. They don't know anything. The kids ain't saying nothing, and the guys, whoever it is that's doing the raping, they're not saying nothing. And then when you do find out, a lot of these parents, I don't want to say don't believe them, but they don't take it serious enough. They're like, oh, that's not what happened. Or, because I've heard this before, that's not what happened. Or
it's hard. Like, it's what it is it's hard to hear that, because like to initially hear that as a parent, it's hard to initially hear this is what's been going on. Because you're just like, wait a second. You start to scan your brain for any moment you missed, and you're like, it doesn't add up. What are you talking about? I've been looking at everything, and I've been paying attention, and it would never, you go through all of those emotions all at once. So I think, and it's really hard for the victim to understand that you're also going through something as the person that's receiving the information, especially if it's somebody that you're in love with.
Yeah.
that you never would have seen any of it coming because you never would have thought that you would have picked something like, because you think in your mind's eye that, now don't get me wrong, there are parents out there that, you just have a shitty picker and you have a shitty picker. You shouldn't be allowed, you shouldn't have these types of men coming in and out of your house and around your children. But there are so many men that you have no idea that they're like this.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And they don't, and they're really good at hiding it.
Okay, so I have a question, right? So let's just say, there's a grown man in the house. Like, I don't know the situation or how it happened, but how were you alone in this grown man having sexual intercourse with a grown man? Like, how would the parents not know you 7 and there's a grown man in there? He's gone. You're not, like, and I don't understand.
Most of the time, girls who are sexually assaulted are either assaulted by their father or their stepfather before they're assaulted by anybody else.
True. Yeah. I mean, that could be, yeah.
Or it's someone who plays a close role in the family dynamic, who has the ability to get close to them like that nobody sees it coming.
Yeah, it's just, that's just crazy to me. I never understood that. I never will.
Is it crazy though? Is it? Because let me ask you a question. One of the largest topics on porn are stepdaughter or incest.
Yeah, but like, I've never seen one. I would want to.
It's pushed into normality in our brains. And people are just like, you're sitting there, you're watching porn all the time. You're watching porn all the time, and you're watching stepdaughter porn, and then you've got a stepdaughter that's coming into age, and you're starting to see things. Well, and your wife's not.
Yeah, but they're not underage though. They're not supposed to be.
No, I'm talking about coming into age. I'm talking about starting to get all those little parts that make you want to.
Yeah, I don't like those.
And then there are people that just like the younger ones because they like the younger ones.
But that young, though? Oh, okay. You said coming of age. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Well, yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah. It is, but it's just, I don't even know how they even. Yeah, I don't even.
You don't know it because you can't grasp your mind around it because you would never.
Yeah, I'll never. Yeah, I don't understand how you can be attracted to somebody that's not even developed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just crazy to me. That's just crazy. And then not only that, it's like you taking somebody's innocence. It's just so many different things on it. But it's just weird. But
it's the idea of taking their innocence that they're attracted to.
Yeah, but.
Sometimes it's the idea of their pain that they're attracted to.
Or they just something up here that's just messed up. You know what I'm saying? They just have something that, or they went through it too. Like, that's the thing too.
There's a lot of men that are carrying around sexual abuse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's true.
Who are exposed.
Absolutely right.
There's absolutely right. I think it's absolutely detrimental to expose your son to sex too soon. There's a lot of men that were exposed to sex too soon. And honestly, I listen to men, and when they talk and they start talking about how some of their first sexual encounters were from older women and they were like teenagers, I'm like, okay, so you were sexually assaulted. That's great. You don't even realize it.
A lot of times, though, I be thinking
sexual problems, you don't even realize it, but yet you want to get into a relationship and make it make sense.
No, I've heard stories like that, especially when
you wonder why men wonder why. So men are exposed to sex too soon, way too soon, and it's terribly normalized that guys should jerk off when they're younger and this stuff and that stuff. I know because I raised my son, thankfully, to be aware of these things. But so it's normalized when they're in like middle school. And then they wonder why they get into relationships because they're feeding their brain at a young age with nothing but sex, porn. And then they think because they're married, now that they have somebody that they have 24-hour access to, I could have sex.
Oh, it's because it's everywhere. That's the thing about it.
No, because it goes back to your dopamine receptors and your oxytocin, because you're doing that at such a young age. Now you're equating sex with happiness. And now you can't be happy unless you're having sex. Well, you're like, she don't love me. I gotta go find sex somewhere else because she won't give it to me. When in reality, she was raised to save yourself. If you have a healthy woman who was raised by a father who raised her right, she was raised to, you should save yourself for the right one. You don't want to give your body out like that. And when you do then she was raised by a mom that should be telling her, when you do get married, when you do get a man, your body is sacred. And if he ain't treating you right, don't give it to him. But he's over here.
No, because what you said is a good point. It's because they've been exposed to it so long and so it's desensitized. It's like it's not that important anymore. You know, like, that's all they think about it. But at the same time, it's like it's not a big deal. Like, you're just gonna do it and then just move on. It's not that important. It's like, you see it all the time. It's like, you do it and let's just go do our, it's our normal everyday thing. Like, what's the big deal?
Isn't that terrible?
We did it. I'm just saying, it's when you're young, like a young male, for instance, they're exposed to it all the time. They see it all the time. They talk about it all the time. The locker rooms, it's a conversation. You've seen that girl, she's hot. I want to do this, I want to do that. And then when you do it, it's on to the next one. It's not important. It's not that important for some guys.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't that terrible? Isn't that terrible?
It is.
It's such a wonderful thing when done right with the right person.
It is, but
it is cosmic. It is heavenly. It is great in all the right places. So when you take something that's so cosmically wonderful, and we could get into what the energies and alignments and all that does on an energetic level in a completely different podcast. But when you just on a general level, when you take that is so wonderful and you desensitize it and you turn it into, I'm just gonna wipe my ass with it, throw it away. Next, like that's
but
it's sad.
But here's the thing though. It's sad. It is, but the thing is when you find that right one, right, and it makes it better, and then you won't be thinking about the other people. You know what I'm saying? If you find the right one, and then the sex is good and everything, and then obviously what happens
if you find the right one and she's like, oh, I don't like the amount of people you've had sex with. That makes me concerned.
But that's before you got in the picture. You know what I'm saying? I didn't find nobody like
you. So you do you want a woman that's been ran through?
No, but listen.
Okay,
listen,
and women don't want men. Women don't want men that's been had their pee all up in everybody. Like
no, that's true. Listen, I'm not in that situation. I'm just saying because the thing about it is back then. Listen, let me tell you something.
I got a number. You go above that number, I'm like,
No. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me just tell you how I was when I was younger, right? Obviously, sex was a big thing, but my focus was so laser sharp when it came to basketball and like sports and stuff like that. That was my main thing. But other people didn't have like the skill I had, or they didn't have the drive I had when it came to that. So I heard the stories. I heard it. And, as I got older, I kind of was like, they're young. They don't know what they're doing. They don't even know how to deal with a relationship. They're not ready. Their head is not there. So
okay, that's great. And you can pass that off all day long, but it's the same ideology. If you go to work and you do a bad job and they fire you and you keep getting fired and you keep getting fired, and now you're up for another job and they're like, well, look at all these places that fired you.
That's true.
Like at some point, where's your value? Yeah. And so
No,
that's the problem.
I know what you
We're
mean.
not teaching. Yeah, but we're not teaching it. Again, it falls like on parents and just understanding. And I don't think parents are failing here. I think we have not been informed on how to parent our children properly or that suits their growth best. At the point where they're starting to get sexually interested, what we should be doing is teaching them about their value. Okay, sex is normal. You're going to feel it. But what I want you to do is learn how valuable you are. Do you want to give your body to this person? Is this person worth you losing a piece of yourself? Because at some point, you're going to want to get into a relationship that hopefully leads to marriage or at least a long-term commitment. And that person should not have to be weighed down by your decisions that you made before them.
But can I ask you this
You
question?
need to be thinking about like what you want in life when you start.
But think about this, right? And this is what you got to understand too. First of all, women mature faster than men, right?
Actually, science is showing that women's cap off at emotional maturity at like I think it was like 14, 15. Their emotional maturity stops at like a teenager level.
No. Well, the point I'm making is, do you really think at like 20 or 21 years old, average, that a man is really ready for a real relationship? They don't even know what love is really. They're not. I'm saying for the most part, but I'm not everybody.
No,
for the most part,
I think very few people are ready for a committed relationship.
I know, but it's even worse. I'm talking about when you're 21. You haven't lived. You don't really know what life is about. You don't know what you can be in a relationship. I'm not saying that's not possible.
You just have to understand that during the course of that. During the course of that relationship, you're going to change many times. And
that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
Your relationship has to be strong enough to ebb and flow throughout the course of that relationship.
But at 20, what I'm saying is they're not mature enough to understand that and let it grow and then understand you're changing. You know, because like you said, you change with experience. Yeah. And then you change with different parts of your life. You know what I'm saying? At 20, you're trying to figure stuff out. You're trying to figure out what you want to do in life. You know, that there's coming at you, and relationships is most of the time the last thing you're thinking about because you're like, I got time, I'm not ready, and you're not really mature enough. So a lot of times when you're 20 years old, and I'm not saying this right, you just trying to just wing it through life. And when they do it, they get intimate sometimes, and you know, and they don't. I'm not saying go run through people, but at the same time, like I don't condemn somebody at 21 that's like, you know, they dating somebody.
I don't condemn it either. Just understand that when you meet that person, they have a right to have their preferences, and you're gonna have to answer for their preferences if you don't meet them. Like it just like that is what it is. So you have to be thinking about that. Like you have to be, if you're grown enough to have a decision to take off your clothes and be the most vulnerable that you're going to be in front of someone and allow someone in that part of you, then you're grown enough to think about what the repercussions are going to be.
Yeah, but at 20 years old, right now, the stuff you're saying right now, if you were saying this to me at 20, I'll look at you like you an alien out of space. I'll be like, what? What do you mean? Like, to me, it's just a disconnect because, again, I'm looking at my peers and seeing what they're doing, right? You know, grow up, listen to the locker room, you hear all these people talking. And when older people, you know, like yourself, like at 20, like somebody 40 is like ancient to me, obviously at that age.
Yeah.
Like they out of loop, they're talking about. Now, if you give me examples and kind of explain it, yeah, of course, I'll probably like, you know what, that makes sense. But at the same time, I'm not mature enough to understand and grasp that until I experience it. And I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Like I wouldn't know that. Okay, maybe if you wait and you find the right person, it'll be better. Like yeah, the sex is cool, but you could have it even the best one if you find the right one and you wait and you just, you know, go with the person that is your person.
Yeah,
and it'll be even better. You know, sometimes. So that's what I'm saying is like I wasn't or not me, but per se, other people, they're not thinking like you saying. They're not thinking about preserve yourself.
Well, I think it's a great time to start introducing that type of thinking into a normal societal role, right?
True.
Because that's what's going to help our next generation be healthier as they
I agree.
So
Also,
I think it's great to start having these conversations now.
Yes, I agree.
Well, listen, it's
it's getting late. Yep.
Listen,
I read your mind.
We're at a good point. I think we're at a good point to kind of because we
are. But yeah, we're gonna start doing this more. I like this.
Because we can do remote as many times as we want, and then just go to the studio.
Yeah, we got as we get, keep doing this with experience. And I want to get a nice background too. We're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff and intro, all of that. But yeah, we're gonna. I think this will be a good way to start off the next couple of ones. Yeah, I'm with that.
Great, awesome.
Okay.
All right, Jay,
we'll talk soon.
nice to connect. Bye, guys.
Bye.